Welcome to another deep dive into the Faroe Islands news. If you enjoy this kind of content, our YouTube channel, Pals Fundamentals, has more deep dives like this, and some gaming videos too. But right now, let's jump into today's local news from Kringvarp Faroe and Indambafo.
Okay, sounds good.
Well, let's start with politics. Over in Sunda municipality, the deputy mayor has publicly called for the mayor to resign.
Interesting. There's also some changes happening in Survog municipality. They've just elected their committees for the next 4 years.
All right. And it looks like the Faroe Islands and Greenland are going to be featured on the updated Danish Royal Coat of Arms.
Okay. Turning to local and community news, there was a big New Year's celebration in Vagor. Sounds like they had a whole bunch of events, a community breakfast, activities for kids, a bonfire, and of course fireworks to ring in the new year.
Sounds pretty festive. And Jummatch 2024 was held at the Nordic House. 77 companies participated, along with municipal and public institutions.
Well,
Okay. Before we move on to international news, I just want to mention that YouTube channel again, Pels Fundamentals. We've got more deep dives like this one, plus some gaming content too.
okay. So in international news, there's a story out of New Orleans about a man suspected of a mass casualty attack that killed 15 people. The suspect has since died.
All right. And now on to some business and economic news. Duty-free alcohol sales have gone up 93% over the last decade.
Wow, that's a big increase.
Huh.
Meanwhile, Atlantic Petroleum is still working on figuring out their debt situation. They're continuing negotiations and have to come up with a solution in the first quarter of 2025 if they want to avoid closing down.
Okay. Faroe's share performance was mixed, with Bakkafrost showing strong returns for shareholders.
Right. Turning back to international news, Ukraine's President Zelensky is claiming a big victory after Ukraine cut off gas supplies from Russia to Europe.
And finally, Finland is increasing their monitoring of a tanker ship following a cable break. All right, so we've covered quite a bit of ground today, from local happenings to international events.
Yeah, we have. Don't forget to check out our YouTube channel, Pals Fundamentals, for more deep dives and some fun gaming videos.
That's right. Lots of interesting content over there. All right, so where do we want to go next?
Well, we haven't talked about that news from Sunda municipality yet. The deputy mayor's call for the mayor to resign.
Yeah, that's a pretty big development in local politics. What else is going on?
Over in Survog municipality, they've just finished electing their committees for the next 4 years.
Right. And on the national level, it seems the Faroe Islands and Greenland are going to be included on the updated Danish Royal Coat of Arms.
Okay.
Interesting. Let's see. Vagar had a big New Year's celebration.
Yeah. They had a whole lineup of events. Community breakfast, activities for kids, a bonfire, and to finish it off, fireworks.
And for those looking for work, Job Match 2024 was held at the Nordic House.
Yeah, they had 77 companies there, municipal and public institutions too. So good participation all around.
Okay. Before we move on, let me just mention that YouTube channel one more time, Paul's Fundamentals.
Yeah.
We've got more content like this and some gaming videos too.
Right. In other news, police in Klaksvik are investigating a string of vandalism incidents.
Oh.
It seems at least 11 cars had their mirrors broken.
Wow. All right. Well, let's see. There was a serious incident in New Orleans.
Yeah, a man suspected of being involved in a mass casualty attack that killed 15 people has died.
Okay. And duty-free alcohol sales have increased dramatically over the last 10 years.
93% to be exact.
Wow. What about Atlantic Petroleum? How are they doing?
They're still working through some debt issues, and they're facing a pretty tight deadline.
Yeah, what's the timeline on that?
First quarter of 2025. If they can't come up with a solution by then, they might have to close down.
All right. So how did Faroe's shares perform?
It was mixed, but Bakkafrost had some strong returns for shareholders.
Okay. And Ukrainian President Zelensky is claiming a major victory against Russia.
He says that Ukraine has cut off Russian gas supplies to Europe.
Interesting. Well, what else?
Finland is implementing new monitoring measures for a tanker ship.
What happened?
There was a cable break.
Okay. So we've covered a lot of ground today, from local stuff to events around the world.
And for more deep dives like this and some gaming videos as well, make sure to check out our YouTube channel, Pals Fundamentals.
That's right. Lots of interesting stuff over there. Okay, so we're back for the last part of our Faroe Islands news roundup. We've got just a few more items to cover.
Yeah. Let's start with some news out of Klaksvik. It seems the police there are looking into a bunch of vandalism.
Oh, what happened?
Well, it seems that at least 11 cars had their mirrors broken, so they're investigating.
Okay. And speaking of crime, but this time internationally, there's been an update on that case involving the suspect in that mass casualty attack we talked about earlier, the one in New Orleans.
Right. That suspect has died.
Okay. Let's move on to some economic news. Duty-free alcohol sales have really been going up over the last decade.
Yeah, they've gone up by 93%.
Wow. That's a lot. And what about Atlantic Petroleum? They've been having some financial troubles, right?
Yeah, they're still negotiating about their debt, and they're on a pretty tight deadline.
Right. When do they need to come up with a solution by?
First quarter of 2025.
Oh.
If they don't have a solution by then, they might have to shut down.
Hopefully they'll be able to pull through.
Hmm.
So how about Faroe's share performance?
It was a mixed bag overall, but Bakkafrost did pretty well. They had some strong returns for their shareholders.
Okay, good. Now, back to international news. There have been some developments in the conflict between Ukraine and Russia.
Right. Ukrainian President Zelensky is claiming a major victory. He says that Ukraine has cut off the gas supplies coming from Russia to Europe.
Wow. Okay, and last but not least, there's some news coming out of Finland.
Right. They're adding new monitoring measures for a tanker ship following a cable break.
Well, that about wraps things up for our Faroe Islands news roundup today. If you want more deep dives like this one, or even some gaming content, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yeah, it's called Pulse Fundamentals. We've got all kinds of content over there.
That's right. We'll see you back here soon for another deep dive.